Hello everybody, it is Tuesday, and that means we are back for another week of Tuesday tutorials. This is the third edition where we go back and analyze games, try to help you out, and help me out too. Try to go back and make ourselves better players. So, this week I had a few more games sent in. I had probably about 10 or so, and I had a lot to choose from, so thank you to the people who actually sent in games. I appreciate it. Some were not so good, but some were pretty good, so I'm going to pick one I got here today, and we'll go over it. So, I guess let's just jump into it, huh? Don't really have much to say. So, here we go. Alright, so, the game we have this week, apparently he didn't start to record until a little bit into it, so this is our starting screen, but the player who sent in the game is called Quarter Turn, and his opponent is Malden. So, let us start from the first turn. Looks like Malden was the one going first, and right away played a collector, and we see, pretty straightforward, it is a Magnivore deck. There are certain things you have to keep in mind when you're playing against a Magnivore deck. Basically, when you're facing a deck like this, you have to think about what their limitations are, because they don't have many. They just kind of beat you down if they set up. So, now we're going to see, right off the bat, Quarter Turn here, not in the best of shape. He has a horrible hand. So these are kind of sticky situations where you just kind of look at it and you're at the mercy of what you draw. So, not a whole lot he can do. And then, opponent plays Rare Candy, Magnezone, Magneton. So, I think we can pause right here. When you see this, and you look at your hand, what are you going to think? This for me, I'd probably think, well, I'm going to get knocked out. So this is a fun game, huh? I got to draw a card. That was cool, at least. So, this is not pretty. The only way you're going to actually have a chance in this game is, A, to have your opponent not draw lightning energy this turn, and B, for you to top deck something. So, in either case, you're going to have to get lucky. There's really nothing you can do here, so there's no choices that can be made. This is the part of the game where your strategy is called Hope and Pray. Usually when you're at this point, things don't go so well. So, let's see where it goes from here. So, now Malden just needs a lightning energy, and he can Lost Burn, and we will lose the game. So that's never a situation you'd like to see. He's playing a collector, so if he's going to play that first, probably thinking, oh, well, maybe he didn't draw the lightning. Maybe I'll have a shot. Maybe I'll actually get another turn. And he grabs 3 Pokemon. So, this is probably a perfect start from him. He has the Magnezone, the Magneton, an Emboar, or not an Emboar, a Pignite, sorry. And communication, so he's going to be able to get something, but apparently he chose not to get something. And then he's going to Eek. So, whew, we survived. And that's really all you can ask for. And hey, Pachirisu. So right off the bat, communication, this is your only option. Communication, and you hope Cleffa's in your deck, otherwise you are not much better off. So, communication, waiting for Malden there to acknowledge. And alright, Cleffa's in here. Alright, we got a chance. So, certainly you're going to Eek. You need a new hand. Your hand is absolutely garbage. But, is there anything else we can do with our hand? Let's see. Now, alright, so we're going to Eek. But can we do something else? His Cleffa is asleep, so it might not wake up. There's something. But, if I'm in this spot, I'm thinking I am way behind. I need to buy some sort of time. Probably need to just catch her out Pignite and pray. So I think that's what I would have done before the Eek. You need to catch her out this Pignite. It's got a 3 retreat cost, even if he has an Emboar. That's fine. Emboar takes 4 to attack. And he might have a switch, but, it's worth the risk. You're behind at this point, so you have to take some sort of chance. And I would use one of your catchers. I'm sure he plays multiples and junk arms. And bring out the Pig Knight. I would also consider playing an energy on Yanma first. You need to fuel Lost Burn in order to keep up with a Magnabore deck. I mean, once they set up, they're going to knock your stuff out in one hit. So you need to be able to respond to that. You need to be able to Lost Burn. So even dropping an energy on a Yanma here would not be a bad idea. I'm thinking if Cleffa gets knocked out this turn, you're in trouble anyway. So you might as well just drop the energy on the Yanma. And yeah, I think that's the only thing that we could have done. So I would catch for the Pig Knight here. Try to buy some time, because time is what you need at this point. It's not very often a Magnamore deck sets up before you do. But in this case, that's what's going to happen. So right here, our Cleffa stays asleep, and so does his. So it looks like either way he would have needed a switch, which kind of a lucky break. But hey, that's the risk of playing Cleffa. You can stay asleep when you don't want to. It has 30 hit points. Cleffa is a very risky card, but you kind of have to play it. So here we are. We have 2 Magnazones in play, but still your opponent can't really do anything, which is weird. So right now, our hand got a lot better. Even though the opponent got 2 Magnazones out, that's a lot to freak out over. He's got 2 Magnazones, 2 giant Pokemon, and he didn't do anything. He still hasn't taken a prize, so that's pretty fortunate. Now, your hand is almost perfect, so look at how quickly this game just turned around. We went from Yanma pass to, holy crap, I'm going to have a Magnazone and a Yanmega. So even though it looks so ugly early on, there are a lot of little things that can change the outcome of it. And right here we just see, looks like quarter turn's going to be fine. He's going to be established. It's not really a whole lot Molden can do with that Cleffa sitting there. And we're going to see a rare candy into Magnazone. Perfect. And now the goal for quarter turn's got to be to get energy into play. Now I also think his opponent didn't play or didn't use magnetic draw, so that was kind of strange, but we'll just ignore that for now. So we get some useful cards actually. Now he has an option to play a Judge, but I don't think I would do that quite yet. I mean, your opponent hasn't really played any cards, and we're gonna see a Junk Arm, and we're gonna see it taken back. So it just goes to show you, even though your opponent got a turn 2 Magnazone and then another Magnazone and a Pig Knight immediately, it's not that big of a deal. So we're going to see energy come down on Magnazone. Yep. So you need to drop energy for sure. The only way you're going to keep up with this Magnavore deck is to drop energy. Once the Emboar comes out, they can drop as many energy as they have. You're never going to keep up with that with Lost Burn, so you will never be able to miss an energy drop and keep up with this deck. So number one thing on your mind at this point has to be, I need to get energy into play. That's pretty much always your goal with Magnazone, but in this case it's even more so. So now we've kind of hit a standstill. Quarter turn, he used linear attack on the Magnazone because Cleffa was asleep. He figured might as well just soften a Magnazone up. I wasn't going to do anything else useful that turn, so I like that decision. And now we're going to get into a slugfest. So this is the point in the game where I got to think, well, we're going at it. There's no turning back. This is going to turn into a prize race. Heavy hitters are going at it. And I got to find a way to keep up with this guy who's just going to be able to kill my stuff over and over. So how do I compete with that? So, alright. At this point in the game, you got to see your opponent has 2 Magnazones. He's got the Pig Knight. Probably an Emboar is coming soon. You have a Magnazone with 2 energy, and you have Yanmegas. Now, your energy drops are limited, so you have to formulate a game plan. How am I going to actually keep up with this guy who can just keep using Infernal Fandango with Emboar and keep raining down energy, and then keep knocking stuff out with Lost Burn in one hit. So I think your game plan here has to be target down Embor, or in this case it's Pignite because it's not actually Embor yet, but you have to cut off the source of where the energy is going to come from, and that is Embor. If you can shut down that part of the deck, you can just win the game because they just run out of energy. So I think at this point you're going to want to draw catchers, and if you can get any, you got to be targeting down that Pignite or that Embor right away. That's going to be your goal for the rest of the game. So let's get back. So right now it is still Molden's turn. Actually, it's not. But he knocked out the first Yanmega, so now we're back to quarter turn. He's down a prize, which that's a freaky spot to be in when you're facing a Magnabore deck. It's very, very scary to look at this and say, oh, they play a Rayquaza Deoxys Legend, and they're up a prize. And they've got a full setup. That's not good, but it's not over. There's plenty of stuff that can happen. So we're going to see him Junk Arm for another rare candy. We'll get 2 Magnazones in play, and now we're stabilized. You know, we'll have enough draw power. And then we'll go from there. Now, the limiting factor for both sides is going to be energy drops. It looks like we have quite a Magnazone war going on. And who's going to come out on top? Usually it's the guy who can just keep attaching energy, but you never know. It's important to note that Molden did take the first knockout with a Lost Burn. It's going to be down 2 energy. And alright, so let's stop here. Let's rewind a little bit. Alright, so now we're at this point. We have a catcher. You see there are 2 energy on the opponent's field. You have another Magnazone sitting there. But there's a Pignite and a Tepig. You have a catcher. How do you want to go about this? You could catcher out the Pignite, Lost Burn for a knockout, or you could take the knockout on the Magnazone, Lost Burn the active. You'd have to Lost Zone 2 of your own energy, but you would be getting rid of his only energy in play. So your opponent is also at 4 cards. So in this situation, what would you do? Would you catcher out Pignite, go for a knockout? Would you Lost Burn the active, taking that knockout, or maybe even attack with Yanmega? How about you guys tell me, which one would you actually go for? And let us see in the chat. We got a couple of different responses. We got Catcher the Pig. We got Take the KO on Magnazone. Let's see, you got the active. So it looks like people are kind of split on this one. And let's be honest, this is actually a tough situation. You want to go for that Embor before it gets out. You just can't let them use energy acceleration. However, your opponent only has 2 energy in play at this point. You have an opportunity to knock it out, and you would only be losing 2 of your energy, so you'd still be okay, thanks to that 40 from linear attack. Now, your opponent is at a 4-card hand. Let's just look at this realistically. When you knock out Magnazone, you will see them get the Magnemite and the Magnazone back to their hand because of the rescue energy. But this can mean one of 2 things now. He'll have a 6th card after that, he'll draw, that'll be a 7th. He'll be able to play a Magnemite, that'll bring him down to 6. Even if he can Magnetic Draw, it probably won't be for much. So, what he's going to need to knock you out if you knock out his active is Embor, a Lightning, and actually, he's got an energy on his bench Magnazone, so he's going to need a Lightning and then another Fire. Now that's a lot to have off of a Judge. He's just going to have a Magnetic Draw, maybe a Supporter. But I think in this situation you actually take your chances. You take out that active Magnazone, you take out his energy. Otherwise, if you don't, he's just going to lost burn you, and you're going to lose your Magnezone and your energy. So I think in this case, you're actually better off going for the Magnezone. It's weird, but I think that's actually a decision you have to make here. And we're going to see quarter turn agrees with me. I don't know if it's right or not, but my gut instinct is to go after this Magnezone. So now he's going to take a look, and now Malden is in a bit of an awkward situation. He is down to just a Magnezone, one fire in play, and see, he's got to play a collector, so he's only going to get a magnetic draw for 2. Make that 0, unless he plays some cards out of his hand. So it looks like our decision is paying off, but we do have a communication, and that's going to scare me a little bit because he's going to get that Embor. Alright, so we have a communication, Embor. Now this is getting scary. It's going to come out, and if he gets... Oh, there's a fire, so if he draws a lightning, we're actually going to get knocked out. So now we're in a bit of trouble. We took out the Magnezone. I don't know. I still think the safer play was to knock out the opponent's Magnezone. It ensured a chance that you could survive this turn, which is what you wanted. You don't want to get in a prize race with Magnabor. You want to try to get a turn where they don't take a prize. And here, alright, we're fortunate enough to have it where, hey, we survived. We made it. So, we're going to have a chance here now to really take control of the game. Now, I think our goal is to target Embor, and we're going to have to do that with a catcher. We're going to have to try to take him out, because Embor is the heart of the deck. Embor is all the energy acceleration. Unfortunately, we don't have enough at this point to knock him out, unless we would have a Pachirisu and then use self-generation to get 2 more lightning into play, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, we will have a couple magnetic draws to work with, though. So let's go for the first one. Alright, looks like a lot of junk. So, here's a common situation you get in with Magnezone. You have 6 cards in your hand, and you want a magnetic draw again. But most of these cards are pretty bad. They aren't bad, but just ones you can't really use right now. Now, you could Junk Arm, maybe get back something, and then magnetic draw again. That would get you 2 or 3, depending on whether or not you played the trainer you got back. Or you could play a Judge, and then magnetic draw off of that. Now, keep in mind, we also have not played an Energy. So, it's a tough decision. You could play a Junk Arm, try to draw more, or you could Judge and try to draw more. Or, what the Junk Arm allows you to do is then play Sage's Training in addition to what you're drawing. But that way you're going to use a lot of resources. You're going to discard cards with Junk Arm, and then you're going to discard even more with Sage, so that's kind of a riskier route. And I think in this situation, there's not really a wrong answer. You can do either one. Now, if you want to be more conservative, I would go with the Judge. If you want to be a little riskier, I'd play the Junk Arm and go that route. So we'll see which route quarter turn decides to go with. So he's going to play a Junk Arm and get rid of Plus Power and Sage. And yep, he's going to get the switch. So he did play a switch earlier, and now he's going to Junk Arm for it. We have this Embor trapped in the active position. It's got a 4 retreat cost, so most of the time your opponent's going to need a switch in order to get out of that. So, Yanmega, one of the cool things, it can hit the bench, so you can trap up a big Pokemon like Embor, and then there's that cute little Cleffa sitting on the bench with 30 hit points that you could take out, or you could target anything else. So, like I said, you can't really trade blows with a Magnabor deck. You're going to lose, so you have to get creative. You have to find a way around it and find clever ways to win. And once again, quarter turn is going to decide to hit the Magnezone, knowing it's only going to allow him, or it's going to allow him to Lost Burn for 2 instead of the 3 it would take. So I would say that's a good decision. Oh, whoa, what is going on with that Magnezone? Alright, can we just acknowledge this? This is the wonder of PTCGO. We have a Magnezone who is clinging to life, apparently. Trying to go to the discard pile, but his will is holding him out. So, anyway, so we decided last turn to linear attack the Magnezone, and now it only has 100 hit points left. And there we go. He hit the switch. And Clef is going to come out, so it's going to give him free retreat. I would hope he doesn't use Eek this turn. That would be kind of a waste of another turn. Looks like our opponent's really struggling to get Lightning. So, it looks like Quarter Turn's plan in this game is to take out the attackers. You know, he took out one Magnezone already. He's targeting down the next one. And he's saying, alright, this is going to be a Magnezone battle. I'm going to make sure I kill your Magnezones first. But now we have a catcher. And that's no good. We're going to get our Magnezone dragged out. And this is where our opponent's energy acceleration is really coming into play. So, he gets back a Lightning with an energy retrieval. And he's going to be able to Lost Burn for a knockout, I'm sure. So that'll leave us with 1 energy in play again. No real way to return knockouts. And we're just kind of getting overpowered here. We're getting bullied around. And there's 4 energy on that Emboar. Our opponent actually decides to Eek. So we caught a break there. Well. Wow. So that's what I call a lucky break. When your opponent decides to give you a gift. And now, what you have to do is take advantage. You know, you get these gifts every once in a while, but you have to try to take advantage of them, otherwise they're not really worth anything. And it looks like we actually aren't going to be able to take advantage. Uh-oh. So, I know Quarter Turn really, really wants a catcher in this spot. You can catcher that Emboar. Oh, it's so juicy. It's got 3 energy on it. It's his energy acceleration. Oh, it's such an easy target. Whoa, alright. So, looks like we caught another break. Wow. So, everything's going right for Quarter Turn here. And even though you're going to lose all of your energy off of the Lost Burn, this is an even trade, I would think. Probably a favorable trade. You're losing all your energy, but you're taking out 3 energy, and that Emboar is going to hang out with that Magnezone over there. So, now we're back in a good spot. Things looked ugly for a while. It really would have gotten ugly. And now his opponent's saying, how did you attach 3 energy on 1 turn? You are reported. And the natural reaction to somebody who's losing a game, what they think they should win, is, you cheated, man. No, I can't lose. You cheated. So Quarter Turn just defending himself. Obviously, we saw he had attached those 1 by 1, and I don't know what to make of that, but this is a lesson in don't blame your opponent for you losing. This is why we go back and review games. You can analyze where you made the mistake, not where you blame your opponent for beating you. Anyway, let's continue. So now Molden, he's still not out of it. He could get an Emboar into play. You know, Quarter Turn is down to no energy. And with Rayquaza and Deoxys Legend around, you never know what the Magnavoar deck can do. I'm sure he plays more ways to get energy out of the discard, so those energy can come back. So now, really, he's got to take 3 more prizes and then finish off with RDL. And one of the unfortunate things about PTCGO is that it does not separate the lost zones, so I can't tell which energy belonged to which player. The fires obviously belong to Molden, but I don't know how many he has left. I think he's only lost zoned a few, so. Alright. We're going to see a Lost Burn for 100. and I'm confused. I think the guy screwed up. So, we're seeing quarter turn catch a break, and Molden says LOL. Alright, it says you attached 2 rescue and a lightning, hence why you were being reported. So, this guy really insists that his opponent is cheating. Huh. I don't know what to make of this, but quarter turn, definitely at the advantage. His opponent lost burn for 100. Not sure why, but here we are. Basically, at this point, he's got to take 4 more prizes, which... Alright, so... Molden... please don't accuse people of cheating. Alright, so I'm just going to pause here for a second. We have to take 4 more prizes. Now, we have a Magnezone stuck active, 1 energy in play, a lot of high hit point Pokemon in front of us. So it's not as easy as you'd think to take these remaining 4 prizes. You're going to have to draw into a switch and start attacking with Yanmega. But Yanmega is not very good against Magnezone. So this game is far from over. If we see Molden get a second Emboar into play, he can actually still come back quite easily. You know, he can overpower your attackers. Now that Catcher's in the format, Emboar can actually take advantage of that as well. It can target down your attackers and just blast them out of the water. And we could see some RDL action. You can't get cocky just because your opponent screwed up once or twice and you're in control, because it can really flip around at any time. So we're going to see how quarter turn goes about finishing the game out and go from here. So we see magnetic draw. He also has 3 magnetic draws at this point, so he's going to be able to draw into almost everything, especially with the Sage's trainings. We're going to see a Junk Arm. He's actually going to get rid of the Sage's training because those are going to make him deck out pretty quickly. Alright, so he grabs a switch, realizes that Magnezone is not going to be a way to go anymore. And we're going to have to see a magnetic draw to even the hand sizes. Something you also have to worry about is not decking out. If you keep using magnetic draw like this, you can actually deck out quite easily. You can see a situation where you just run out of cards because you're trying to match hand sizes over and over, and you're discarding stuff for Junk Arm. And now we're going to see him pick off that Cleffa. And we're going to see him go up 2 prizes, but like I said, this is far from over. There's still 2.5 Magnezones out for Molten. You know, he's got 2 and then the 1 hanging out by the discard pile, and a Twins, so this is not over. 2 prizes is not a big deal in this situation. I would say Molden still has a good shot at winning. So you have to stay focused. Don't think just because you're up 2 prizes that you've won the game, even though your opponent's misplayed a few times. And we're just, Molden. Molden. You got some lessons to learn on accusing people of cheating. So here he benches that big, scary monster. And this is what I meant by the game is not over. So now quarter turn saying, I'm recording this game, so I'll be able to look back. And he also needs to charge his battery. Alright, so we're going to see him maybe take control of the game, but if Molten's got anything, ugh. That RDL is scary. He can take 4 straight prizes at this point because, honestly, look at what he's got. He's got no energy in play. He's got nothing that can actually kill that thing in 1 hit. So if RDL takes 2 knockouts back to back, all he has to do is take 1 more and then the game's over. So there's definite comeback potential for Molden. You still have to figure out a plan, and it's going to be tough. And we see a catcher. He's also going to be able to buy time with these catchers. Or he can pick off helpless Cleffas. I think from Molden's side, man, I wish he would have sent this in because I had a lot more to comment on his side. If he could have catchered up a Magnezone, it would have been stuck there. And I think that would have been a better option. Magnezone's got 3 retreat. It would allow him more time to get going. And Now, like I said, quarter turn has to manage all of his resources properly. He has to find a way to win the game without decking out and without running out of energy and without allowing Molden to actually win. So, it's actually very complicated even though he's winning. He has a lot of stuff to choose from. He's got a lot of stuff to do. He's going to play Collector for Patchy here. Now, I don't know how many energy he actually had left, but I don't think Pachirisu would be such a great idea here. You can't have too many energy left. You've lost burn quite a few. And now, for some reason, Molden decided to bench the RDL early, and I think that's going to actually come back to bite him. So now we see... Alright, so quarter turn decides to catcher for the Tepig, and this is definitely what you want to do. That RDL is scary, but he doesn't really do anything without an Embor in play. And we're going to cut off the Tepig because that's going to be the energy acceleration. Without that, Magnabor is dead. Without Infernal Fandango, there's no way to do anything. And Tepig goes down, and now I think quarter turn's in a very good position. With that knockout, I think he's in a good spot. There's a lot of scary Pokemon in Molden's field, but at this point, he's got no energy acceleration. And this was your game plan. This is what you wanted to accomplish the entire game. You wanted to eliminate the Embors from play, that way he couldn't use Infernal Fandango and power up his Pokemon. You weren't going to win a straight-up battle with him. You weren't going to trade Magnezone for Magnezone. But if you cut off the Embor, then you're going to win, because he's only going to have Magnezones as attackers, but you have a Yanmega that can attack for free, and eventually you're going to come out on top. So, looks like this is where we come to. Can someone please tell me if this is actually in play or not? I keep thinking it is in play, and now as you can see it goes all the way over there. So I'm kind of confused, but I think Molden might be in trouble. He's playing a Junk Arm. Discards another Junk Arm, so getting an energy retrieval. And he's not going to be able to win if he just attaches manually the rest of the game. Honestly, he's got 2 energy in play, I believe. He might have 3. Depends on if that one on the half discarded Magnezone counts. So, he's not going to have any energy in play to Lost Burn with. And he only does 100. He's got a thing for just doing 100 to quarter turns Pokemon. Molden, if you're watching, please send in a game so I can do your games next week. So, from this point on, I would say it's pretty much academic. He can just keep using Sonic Boom over and over, I think, and eventually he's going to win. He's got a 2-prize advantage. Molden is out of energy acceleration. Our plan worked. And Molden says, nice double catcher, enjoy your ban. And just remember you can't cheat at actually tournaments. Thanks, Molden, for those words of wisdom. Let's see. So, please be respectful to your opponents. Don't be like Molden. Pokemon's all about being a friendly game, having respect for your opponents, and Molden is showing the opposite of spirit of the game here. So, right now, we're going to see that Pachirisu come down. We're going to have 2 more Lightning in play. And really, it's going to come down to a Lost Burn on our end. And there's really not a whole lot that Molden can do about it. We're going to get a Sonic Boom KO, I would think. I would play a Judge here if I were quarter turn. Okay, he's a smart guy. So, Molden is not giving up, man. He is determined that quarter turn is cheating. And obviously we've seen quarter turn is not cheated. And he's saying he's posting this game on YouTube. And now I will also post this game on YouTube. So, he's going to have a catcher for the RDL. And Lost Burn the thing back to the Stone Age. And we're going to have the game. So, guess this game was more entertaining than anything. Jeez. Lost Burn. Oh man, Molden is dissing quarter turn. Oh, this guy. Alright. He may have screwed up in Pokemon, but he's a good trash talker. I'll give him that. That is so rude. Wow. Molden. So, alright. We got a Lost Burn. Quarter turn's the winner. And that is that. So now, not the greatest game in the world by our opponent, but good game planning by quarter turn. I really think he went about it correctly. He didn't make too many mistakes, I don't think. Maybe some minor things here or there, but the game plan was what's important in this instance. He went for the Embors, and without the Embor, there's nothing to do. You can't keep attaching energy, so with Catcher, you have the ability to target things, and now, in this format, we have Embor, who's got a giant retreat cost, and if you take out the heart of the deck, the Embor, you win the game. So, that was what this was all about. And, hey, good job to quarter turn. Molden, we need to talk. But, yeah, I think that was an interesting game. Good learning experience. Not to trash talk people on the internet, because they might be recording you. Maybe that should be this week's lesson. Don't trash talk when you're losing. Or when you're winning, but mainly when you're losing, because it doesn't turn out well. So, that was a cool game. I hope you guys at least got some enjoyment out of it, because it was kind of entertaining. So now, I'm going to take some questions from the chat. See what you guys got to say about that. So I'll answer some stuff. Ask me the questions in the chat, and I'll go over whatever you guys want to talk about, unless it's inappropriate, or your question is, what should I play for regionals? Or what are you playing for regionals? Because those are not going to be answered. But yeah, other than that, let's get to some questions.